Hello chefs and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's recipe is Egyptian Fattah. Egyptian Fattah is a dish made out of layers of crispy bread, rice, meat, and garlic and vinegar sauce. We usually serve it during feasts and big gatherings. A disclaimer before I start, I was filming this during quarantine and I couldn't go to the grocery store to get the right type of meat for the Fattah. I usually like to use chuck roast or beef shank, but since I couldn't go anywhere, I worked with the meat I've got. We start by cooking our meat and making our stock. So cube the meat and sauté in ghee or butter with 1 whole onion. When it caramelizes, add your water to cover the meat. Here I use the pressure cooker, that's why I transferred everything in it. If you will be making the stock in a regular pot, then skip this step. But make sure to discard the extra fat before adding your water. I added 2 cubes of vegetable bouillon, which is optional and you can omit it if you want. Season with salt and black pepper. Then leave it to boil for 5 minutes and skim all the gunk that rises to the surface. Then leave to cook until the meat is soft. When it's done, fish out the meat and set aside for later. When you sauté the meat first with the onion, it gives you the best tasting beef broth you ever tried. I encourage you to try it this way. Second step is to prepare the garlic sauce. There are 2 types of garlic sauce. The first type is the garlic and vinegar sauce. We'll sauté a lot of crushed garlic and some ghee. Then once it turns this yellowish color, add some vinegar to it. Then add a couple of ladles of the beef stock we made earlier. Season with salt and black pepper to taste. Leave it to boil. Then it's ready. We'll set it aside for later. When I serve the feta, I don't serve the garlic sauce on top of it. I serve it on the side, so people would actually choose which sauce they would like. Second type is the red garlic and vinegar sauce. It starts like the first sauce. Sauté a lot of garlic until it reaches this yellowish color, then add the vinegar. The difference is now we add some tomato sauce to it. You can use fresh tomatoes if you want, but you will need to leave it to cook for longer. Season with salt and black pepper to taste, then leave it on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes. Then set it aside. The third step is to prepare our rice. Sauté some vermicelli pasta and some ghee until golden brown. You will notice we're using a lot of ghee, but this is how we traditionally do it. Then add your washed and drained rice. Quantities will differ from one person to another depending on how many people you are cooking for. But a general rule of thumb for Egyptian rice, every cup of short grain rice you add 1 1/4 cup of water. And for each cup of vermicelli pasta, add an additional cup of water. Here I made 2 cups of rice and half a cup of vermicelli pasta. So in total, I used 3 cups of water. Once it boils, leave it on the lowest heat setting to fully cook. The amount of time will depend on how many cups of rice you're making. Once fully cooked, fluff the rice with a fork and set it aside for later. Fourth step is to prepare the crispy bread. I like using pita bread, cut into small cubes and fry it in a mixture of oil and ghee until it becomes crispy and golden brown. Fish them out and set aside. Now we have everything ready to assemble our feta. I'm making a small portion here, but usually, as I said before, this is a type of food that we share around feasts and big events. So we make it in big quantities. Start with a layer of your crispy bread. Then add some of the really hot beef stock. Make sure all the bread is well coated, then discard any extra stock. Then we'll add a layer of rice. Some people like to mix everything together before serving it, but I prefer to keep it this way, and then my guests can choose which sauce they like and they can mix it themselves. Don't think that I forgot about the meat, but now is a good time to fry it. I fried the meat in some ghee and I sprinkle some freshly ground black pepper on top. As I said before, due to the quarantine, I was not able to get the type of meat that I usually like to use. It's not the best looking meat, but it did the job. And now you serve. Enjoy with either type of sauce and impress your guests. If you like this video and you want to encourage me, please consider liking and sharing this video and subscribe to the channel. Bon appétit, or as we say in Egypt, صحة وعافية.